do you actually think they do deserve a pay rise? I would love to hear the argument that, yeah, actually they do. They're good guys. Give them more money. Let's bring in political commentator, contributor at The Express and The Telegraph, Robert Taylor. And I was thinking, Robert, as I was saying that, because often you do throw a curveball. This might be one of them. You're going to say, do you know what? They do deserve a pay rise.
Well,
but fewer of them.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why we need to pay MPs well. We pay MPs roughly in line with Europe. Other European countries have roughly the same level of pay for MPs. We abuse them, goodness knows how much do they get in terms of bullying and abuse. I think we do need the best people. But this is a terrible time to start giving people a 5% pay rise above inflation, just when we're told that pay rises are inflationary. Well, surely MPs therefore should set the example. So yes, it's been an independent review commission that has proposed this, but I reckon MPs should say this ain't the right time. We've got to set an example.
You would think so. I mean, the Parliamentary Standard Authority, 5%, who deal with all of this, takes their pay from 86,584 to 91,346. Now, there's apparently, and I love this because you're right, it's all about the optics rather than the actuality. Supposedly, over a period of time, they're not getting any greater increases than they once would have done. Their expenses since the scandal are done in a very different way, so they're nowhere near as generous as they used to be. To be honest, I'm not buying all of that, Tosh. I mean, this is a good job. Look, if you're an MP and you work hard, it's a job nobody wants because the hours are crazy. It is 7 days a week, 365 days a year, whether you're opening a fake, cutting a cake or shaking hands with people at the old folks' home. Regardless, it is relentless. But that's the ones that are really good. I think we've got a lot that are very, very average at best.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that one of the ways to get less average MPs is to pay them more. But to go with your argument, they can get second jobs. And for heaven's sake, Rishi Sunak has a second job as Prime Minister. He doesn't spend much time representing the constituents in Richmond in Yorkshire. Same with Keir Starmer. He's got a full-time job as Leader of the Opposition. He doesn't spend much time as an MP in his constituency. So we allow them to have other jobs. And as long as that's OK with the voters, then I think it's absolutely fine for them to be paid as they are. But let's remember, GPs get, there are about 50,000 GPs in the country. They get about 100 and get up to that level, certainly. Shouldn't we have our lawmakers paid roughly what GPs are paid? I think we should.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And I think you're right. This would be more palatable if you didn't have scenarios like Geoffrey Cox, who was earning £6 million while working in the Caribbean. I mean, look, if you say you can have a second job, that's one thing. The fact that you were literally stationed in the Caribbean and not anywhere near your own constituency, you're not anywhere near your own country, let alone your own parish. I mean, that can't be right.
It's a Mickey take, isn't it?
Completely.
But it's up to his constituents then to say, look, we need someone who's going to be dedicated to us. I mean, that's what democracy is like. I'm happy with second jobs, but then you can't complain if your constituents ditch you.
The trouble is, if there's a by-election, as it's often said, although it comes up increasingly in recent times. We've had a lot of by-elections. But if, for example, you're a fairly well-paid solicitor right now, you want to become an MP, there's a by-election tomorrow, you quit your job as the solicitor, you've worked very hard to get that position, you finally got there, but you've decided that Westminster beckons. So off you go to Westminster. 6 weeks down the line, they call a general election. You're voted out. You have no job. Well, you will arguably get one again at some point. But that seems to be one of the arguments that, well, it's only a 5-year term. It's not safe. That doesn't really wash, though, does it? I mean, who else has got a secure 5-year job?
Well, no one has a secure 5-year job these days. If you're in a safe constituency, I guess you've got a job for as long as you like it. But how many safe constituencies are there for Tories right now? Not many.
Indeed. Rishi Sunak has been told to reconsider his May election, 2nd of May election. Well, it's not a pledge. It's 2nd of May election, no pledge, because he told us yesterday it ain't happening. Labour say that actually he's running scared and holding a general election on the 2nd of May he still had time to reconsider this, say Labour.
Yeah, it's bunkum from the Labour Party. It's the oldest trick in the book is to say that the Prime Minister has considered May the 2nd and is running scared because he's a chicken. Well, I mean, they weren't complaining when Gordon Brown went to the limit in 2010.
Yeah.
They weren't complaining when James Callaghan went to the limit. They were happy for Tony Blair to always name the date. But now, because it's a Tory, somehow it's different. It's a load of bunkum and we should ignore it.